that are affecting me. Rising crime, poverty, issues in my own country. But today we're talking about it. Yes, we're gonna talk about it. Ain't nobody wants to open their mouth, but we don't speak out. At the Youth Zone, searching for solutions for the issues in our nation. That's the only way we know that we can make it. It's going down. At the Youth Zone, we may be young, but we're the next generation, and we're here to save our nation. Oh, at the Youth Zone. You are now in the Youth Zone.
Well, hey everyone, welcome to the Youth Zone. Can you believe it? We're coming to you from the Sandals Emerald Bay Ballroom all the way in Farmers Hill, EXUMA. Any EXUMians in the house? Listen, we are so excited to be on this island. It is one of the most beautiful places ever in the entire world. I don't know how y'all actually can do this in EXUMA, but this is just a great side of heaven. Well, of course, you can see I have some great co-hosts from the island of EXUMA, coming actually from the Ellen Coakley High School with me today. I have Mr. Glenn Roll over here and Miss Rebecca Knowles, who will be co-hosting the show with me. Welcome to the show. Welcome. You're looking like, yeah, we're ready. Let's get started. Well, we have an exciting topic for you today that we want to get into, and I think it is so fitting for the people here on EXUMA to talk about this issue pertaining to education. Well, we know the records will reflect that in general, Family Island students tend to perform well academically, and that's despite the limited resources that many of them may have when it comes to learning.
Many times, students on family islands have to come up with creative ways to get the work done, because the reality is we don't get a break because we're from the island.
That's right, and we're expected to compete on equal footing with everyone else around the country. And that means working this much harder to succeed. But I'm happy to say, we are succeeding. Actually,
in fact, you really are succeeding with the limited resources, and the work that you produce here in EXUMA is really exceptional, and that can be nothing short of a miracle. And we say hats off to teachers, really, and students who actually make it happen on a day-to-day basis. Well, on today's show, we focus on Family Island education. Are students at a disadvantage?
Our discussion begins when we come right back.
Stay close.
Smaller could be better because in the classroom, the students could learn more effectively instead of the students in the departments, because the classrooms are smaller. They could be like half the size of the ones in my class. So, yeah.
That's a good point, because while people may disagree that you don't have access to what you need as far as supplies and classes, I agree with that point that you have a better environment to learn it.
I do think we are at a disadvantage because I think that we lack quality sporting facilities for athletes.
At the Youth Zone, we may be young, but we're the next generation, and we're here to save our nation. To save our nation. Oh, at the Youth Zone. You are now in the Youth Zone.
And welcome back. If you are just joining us, we're coming to you from the beautiful Sandals Bay Resort and Sandals Emerald Bay Resort in Farmers Hill, EXUMA. And we're so excited to be in this beautiful place taping this special edition of the Youth Zone. Exciting times. Glenn.
So, we're talking about Family Island education. Are we at a disadvantage? How do we feel about it? Well, our social media correspondent, Athena Miller, has this week's responses.
Thanks, guys. We're always excited to hear from you on our topic of the week. And boy, didn't we get some interesting responses. Take a look.
We are at a disadvantage on the islands because in Nassau they have whiteboards, and in EXUMA we don't have boards like that. We have insufficient computers and lacking of teachers, of the auto mechanic building teachers.
I feel like it depends on how hard you work, and like you have to work hard to get a scholarship, and just because we're on the family islands, I don't really think we're any less than Nassau just because they're like a city. I don't feel like we're any less than them. I just feel like it depends on how hard you work.
So we want to hear from you. Stay tuned to our social media sites on Twitter at the Youth Zone 242, Instagram, the Youth Zone 242, and Snapchat, the Youth Zone. And don't forget about our Facebook page, the Youth Zone. Send us a 20-second video of your opinion on our questions. This is our social media report. Back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Athena. Well, it's time to turn up the party. They're the life of the party and the muse with all the views. We're talking about our TYZ panel, and they hail right from here on the island of EXUMA. Welcome, guys. How y'all doing today? Okay, so we've been talking about this whole idea of education. Do you feel you're at a disadvantage with education on the Family Islands? What's your view on it?
Hi, my name is Keishawn Ferguson. I feel like we on the Family Island are at a disadvantage when it comes to education because one, we first lack teachers because we don't have the right amount of subjects that the teachers want to come in to teach, so we lack teachers.
Interesting point. Okay, let's hear from somebody else. Interesting point.
Hi, my name is Torian. Well, I feel as if though we are at a disadvantage because of the lack of spaces. What do I mean by that? No classrooms. Like teachers have to share classrooms. And I don't think that's appropriate.
Is it because the schools have outgrown the space, or they just didn't have enough classrooms, or what is it?
They just didn't have enough.
Wow, interesting. Okay, all right. Let's hear from someone else.
Hi, my name is Georgiana Williams. I believe that we're at a disadvantage when it comes to the curriculum and the supplies needed from Nassau because what I mean by that is, in Nassau, most schools, they get their materials and the curriculum like maybe beforehand, before schools open, while we in the Family Island, we have to wait for the curriculum and the items needed for school, and I don't think that's the right thing to do. So that's my opinion.
Interesting point. I've heard that before from other families. Interesting. Who else wants to talk? Go ahead. Right here.
Hi, my name is Hester Curtis, and I feel that in a way we are not at a disadvantage because, as you know, Family Islands, they have less students than the islands in the province. And smaller could be better because in the classroom, the students could learn more effectively instead of the students in the province because the classrooms are smaller. They could be like half the size of the ones in Nassau. So, yeah.
That's a good point because while people may disagree that you don't have access to what you need as far as supplies and classes, I agree with that point that you have a better environment to learn it. I mean, I know, for example, I just looked when I went to Ellen Coakley yesterday, and I came out of the vehicle, and lo and behold, the backdrop of the school is this beautiful ocean. I'm thinking, who can learn in this environment? It's a wonderful environment. So I think that's a very good advantage, and the fact that the class sizes are smaller, and you don't have maybe as much as aggressive students as the people in New Providence may be. So I use aggressive in quotations. That's a very good idea, very good point. Okay, let's hear from you.
I do think we are at a disadvantage because I think that we lack quality sporting facilities for athletes' development in physical education class.
So you're like the athlete?
Sometimes.
Okay, good. Let's hear from the gentleman next to you. Stand up for us.
Hi, my name is Ethan Clark. I think that we are at a disadvantage because we don't have more vocational subjects such as barber and auto mechanic when schools in Nassau have it because every student is not academically inclined.
Good point. Good point. Do you have any of those subjects at all?
Yes, sir, we have only subject we have is woodwork.
Woodwork. Okay. Let's hear from you. Go ahead, stand for us. Oh, okay. He's like, I don't have anything yet, just yet. Let's hear from you. Stand for us.
My name is Jason Earl. Piggybacking off what Winter said, I feel like we are not at a disadvantage because we're in classes with too much children. I mean, you can't focus. I suck in math, so I can't be in a class with about 30 children because I wouldn't catch on.
So, like, what size is your math class now?
About 16 kids.
So you're able to get that kind of one-on-one training that you need?
Yes, sir.
Interesting. Now, see, I find that interesting because, and I think maybe perhaps we see the results being reflected in Family Island exams because of smaller class sizes, you're able to get that personal one-on-one attention. Is that what most of you in the audience, do you agree with that you get more attention on your subjects because you're in smaller class sizes? Yes, show of hands, yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. How many of you prefer to be in a class full of 40 aggressive kids? Okay, just asking. So do you actually feel, in your view, does it actually contribute to what it is that you do?
Yeah, I feel like a smaller classroom does, hold on, say that word again.
Do you feel that the smaller class sizes actually help you to do well?
Yeah, I feel like they help us to do better because, like how I said, with more kids, you won't be able to focus. Like with smaller classroom with about 16 kids, the teacher could take one time with everybody and go through the subject without losing kids out.
So do you find that teachers actually do that? I mean, do they, what say you, Glenn or Rebecca? Do teachers go the extra mile to help you if you don't get it?
I think most of the time it's just based on who you are.
Based on who you are?
Yeah, if you want to learn, then you would go to them and they will be there for you.
All right. You found that to be the same case for you? All right. So then my concern is, so we have this kind of balance, and I'm trying to see which one outweighs the next. Because some of you are saying, well, we are at a disadvantage because we don't get the supplies, we don't have the extra classes that people get in vocational studies. Some of you are saying, no, well, we're at a better advantage because we have more personal space. Which outweighs what, in your view? Which is a greater? Is it the disadvantage or the advantage?
Disadvantage.
The disadvantage. And that's because it happens consistently. Why do you think that delay is? Because we're going to find out soon, because we're going to talk to some people who can help us. But why do you feel that you're always getting this delay? Pass the mic to her. Go ahead.
I feel like we're always delayed because we are family island students. Like, we don't necessarily, like Georgiana said, get the stuff on time, like at all. Like, for example, in Nassau, the schools in Nassau get supplies quicker because they in the vicinity of the ministry or whatever. But us over here, it takes the boat, the plane, or whatever other way to get the supplies there, which is it reaches late.
And a little birdie told me that happened almost yesterday with a keyboarding exam. Y'all waiting on the plane to come? Interesting. You know, I got my ways of finding out I'm a reporter. I got my ways of finding out these things. So I understand then what you're talking about. What about doing coursework? And we're going to go to a break. When we come back on to talk about that coursework, do you have the resources that you need to do these courseworks? I know in Nassau, they'd be all over the place compiling research and getting stuff for coursework. How are you able to get through coursework? We're going to find that out, and we're going to talk to some experts on really this disadvantage when we come back. Stay close. You're in the Youth Zone from EXUMA. Stay close.
Those same scholarships that are available to students on the island of New Providence and Grand Bahama, they're also afforded to students here on the island of EXUMA.
Even though we have the same work, we have the same coursework, our children must stretch out and get this information because we do not have it on the island.
Well, do y'all think that's fair? Do you think it's fair when compared to your colleagues?
In Nassau, all they have to do is just take a bus and then they're right there.
Because we live on a family island, we have this type of relationship that everyone works together. Nobody wants anyone to fail. So the community does lend their hand when it comes to getting different resources in order to do our coursework.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're talking about family island education. Are we at a disadvantage? Let's meet our special guest. He is the principal at the only public high school here in EXUMA, and she is the vice principal at the only private high school here in EXUMA. Please welcome Mr. Don Barr and Ms. Junan Lewis.
Wow. I tell you, by those applause, y'all must be really, really loved, or either they're just happy that they don't have to be in school today. One or the other. But welcome to the show, and we're happy to be in EXUMA talking to you. You represent leadership of the high schools here on this island, and you've heard the topic, you've heard some of the comments. What say you? Do you feel, in your view, that family island students are at a disadvantage?
Yes, I can agree that we are at a disadvantage because, like the children said, especially coursework time, we have to search for information. And my children always say you have to pay somebody to put gas in their car in NASA to go and get information for you. So it is difficult at sometimes. And then I also agree that we are at an advantage because we have smaller classes and we have one-on-one instruction. And the children get our time a little bit more than the children in NASA. And they are doing well.
Interesting. I didn't know that. The results are showing it for it. Let's hear from you, Mr. Bob.
Well, I lean more to the view that Family Island schools are more at an advantage because I am one of those persons who had the opportunity to be educated at the only public school here on the island, which is the Ellen Coakley High School. And some of the same challenges that existed then may still exist today. But being a product of the
Nation. At the youth zone.
You are now. But because of my experience and nurturing here on the island with a small classroom environment, I was able to take that discipline. I was able to take what I've learned, those principles that were inculcated in me. I was able to take those all the way to the University of New Hampshire, Southern Louisiana University, all around the world in general. And because I owe that to the parents' support, I owe that to the discipline, I owe that to the teachers who were really concerned about my future.
So in your view, you didn't have to do anything differently to get the result that most people get if they're in Nassau as far as opportunities for higher learning?
Exactly.
So let me ask you though, because that you're probably maybe the exception. Do y'all agree? Or is that for everybody? Or is that on the norm across the board? Do you feel though that there is a disconnect as far as opportunities for school students in the Family Islands and there are for those perhaps in Nassau, even access to scholarships?
Not necessarily, because those same scholarships that are available to students on the island of New Providence and Grand Bahama, they're also afforded to students here on the island of EXUMA. In fact, I can speak specifically to the Ministry of Education list of scholarships. Once they were sent, I made sure that every student in grade 12 were aware of them. And then there are other scholarships that are available as well. And I can say that there are some of our students who will be the recipients of some of those scholarships.
Okay, well, see, I'm now hearing some teeth to this thing. I wanted to go back to what Ms. Lewis said about coursework, because I can't imagine that if you have coursework, they expect you to do the research and development in Nassau. I mean, is that just an added boost, or is that sometimes required that you have to actually get information from facilities in Nassau? And if that is the case, has anybody ever made noise about that and said, well, listen, that's putting on a disadvantage. These kids don't have access to jumping on a bus and going to the Department of Archives, or jumping on a bus and going to the House of Assembly to get information. I mean, has it ever been raised?
I don't think, at least not as far as I know, that it's been raised. It is a requirement because we all get the same coursework as the children in Nassau. And we want our children to do well. So whatever it takes for them to do well, we ensure that they get those things. Like, for example, if they have a religion coursework, they have to interview an old folks home or somewhere, some type of organization. Obviously, we don't have those organizations in EXUMA, so our children must go to Nassau or find some way to go and interview someone from those organizations. So I wouldn't say it put them at a disadvantage. It makes them work harder, because they now have to plan how they're going to get this information, because our time is the same. We have to turn in coursework at the same time. We're given no special, give you a word, concessions, you know. So I think, like Mr. Barr said, it makes them better people because they have to prepare themselves. They have to be more organized. We have to make sure the coursework gets on the boat or it's taken to the Ministry of Education on time. So even though we have the same work, we have the same coursework, our children must stretch out and get this information because we do not have it on the island.
Well, do y'all think that's fair? Do you think it's fair when compared to your colleagues?
No.
Let's hear from you, because you see, get the mic to her. How do you feel about that when you compare yourself to another counterpart, perhaps in New Providence, who's doing the same thing you're doing?
I don't think that's somewhat fair because in Nassau, all they have to do is just take a bus and then they're right there. While we, on the other hand, like for me, example, I had to do my history coursework, and while they had the advantage of going, let's say, to the House of Assembly and just interview a person, I had to find my information online, and there's not a lot of information about the Bahamas online, so that put me at a little disadvantage of that. And I don't think that was fair to like place us together because we're two different types, like the Nassau and then us, the Family Island. So that's my point.
I kind of agree with that. You want to comment? Go ahead, Mr.
Yes.
Lawrence.
I want to also comment on the fact that, yes, we may have the least amount of resources or limited resources, but I want to mention specifically a case at Ellen Coakley High School. It has been a struggle to get, for example, resources for art. Yet we have one of the best, I say the best, art teacher in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Miss Julie Knowles, at Ellen Coakley. And I say that without fear or favor.
I heard you got the best art student.
Exactly,
result.
and we have
Sit
the
next
best
to me.
art student, Rebecca Knowles, right here amongst us today.
Wow.
Even though we have the little or the least amount of resources, the time, the innovation, the creativity, and the amount of time and effort that the students put into their work, it has to be, as a result, when you look at Rebecca today, she has the best BGCSE art result in the country.
Wow.
Not only in EXUMA, in the country. I will go further to not only say that. The Ellen Coakley High School received the best overall grade in the art BGCSE amongst the Family Island schools with the limited resources we have. And so in spite of the fact that we may have the limited resources, we are still able to pull out the best in our students.
Well, see, that's a good point. And but you know, I always get in trouble sometimes when I say things, but you know.
Get yourself in trouble.
Let me think about this before okay, my thing is, I'm optimistic and I feel so encouraged, but I think a lot of that is because it's coming from Mr. Barr. I don't know if every principal or every teacher has the same kind of determination and drive that he has. So I think while you're fortunate to have a Mr. Barr here, the reality is for so many other Family Island students, they don't have a Mr. Barr. They have principals and teachers who are like, well, if we ain't got it, we ain't got it. You see what I'm saying? So I think he sounds optimistic because his drive is to either make it work no matter what, you know, kind of way. But I don't think everybody's drive is that way. And I think there's so many other Family Island students who don't have the kind of access to education that they would like to have because they don't have a Mr. Barr. They have a teacher who said, well, I've been doing this for 15 years, I ain't trying no more. They ain't checking for us, but y'all do what you can do and that's it. You understand what I'm saying? And so they don't have access to what you have access to. And so while we appreciate Mr. Barr's enthusiasm, the reality is I still think the system needs a lot more work to it because everyone doesn't have access to a Mr. Barr. And I think our duty as a country is to ensure that every student in this country has access to quality education, and it shouldn't be something they have to beg for. It should be something that's given and afforded to them. And so I think we do need to look at the system because I can't imagine any child in Inagua or Meguan or Crooked Island trying to do coursework and can't have access to these public institutions which are in Nassau. How do you expect me to do the coursework? You're telling me go online, but if internet always down and I don't have access to a computer at home, how do I give a good coursework? I submit that perhaps we need to be able to have two types of coursework. Coursework from those from the capital and coursework from those from Family Islands. And the coursework from Family Islands should be based on the island's environment. And I think that's what should happen. Because we always talk about being creative and learning. We always talk about everybody's not academic, so we find what? Vocational courses for them to do. So if we can do that for those who aren't academic, I think we could tweak the curriculum for those who aren't in the capital to have access to these national buildings and ensure that their coursework has to do with their environment. After all, don't we benefit when they're able to research their own environment? When they're able to contribute and write papers on their own environment? Aren't we making that island that much stronger? Why do we need somebody from the capital to write about Inagua's environment? When we have people from Inagua who can do the research right on Inagua about flamingos, and we mark them on their coursework about that. Shouldn't that make a difference? I want to bring it back. Ms. Lewis, you perhaps can take this because you're from the private environment. Is it a little bit better because you're from a private environment, or do you have the same kind of challenges?
I think it's a little bit harder for me because we are private. Just an example, our exams usually come late, or our coursework usually come late. I always have to call Ellen Coakley and ask them, did you get the coursework yet? You know, so we work hand in hand with Ellen Coakley to make sure that we are getting things on time. So it's sometimes a struggle because they don't send things out in time. And that's why I feel when the children said they're at a disadvantage, especially for coursework, because we have to be scampering around at some points to make sure. And don't get me wrong, these children work really hard to do their coursework and to get these things done. It's just that I feel like sometimes we can have it a little bit easier since we are already at a disadvantage for getting the information. Get it to us earlier, maybe, so that we can figure out how we can help the children more. And like you said, when you have passionate teachers, that really helps also, because at St. Andrews, that is what is really driving us. Our teachers are passionate to make sure that the children get the information. We have teachers who will go to the archives and try and get this information sent back so that the children can have something to use for their history coursework. You know, so as a private sector, we've been with that struggle of getting things after the fact or late, or having to depend on our counterparts, Mr. Barthos, to help us to make sure that we are at the same level.
How about, maybe perhaps students can access this question. What about issues as far as community involvement? Are you able to get assistance with your work? Perhaps if you do research with community, are you able to get that kind of assistance from them? One person can take that and we'll go right to a break right after that. Anybody? Do you find that in EXUMA you're able to have access to the community and corporate citizens to get information or to do research or to do training and that kind of thing?
The community do help. I said that because we live on a family island, we have this type of relationship that everyone work together. Nobody want anyone to fail. So the community does lend their hand when it comes to getting different resources in order to do our coursework.
Good point, good point. All right, go ahead, Rebecca.
Well, we're not out of talk, but out of time. So let's continue the discussion on social media at our Facebook page, The Youth Zone, and Twitter page, we're at The Youth Zone 242. Or meet us on our interactive chat at znsbahamas.com.
Don't go anywhere. EXUMA News with Zion Gadet and Michelle McKinsey is up next after the break.
At the Youth Zone, we may be young, but we're the next generation, and we're here to save our nation. Oh, at the Youth Zone, you are now in the Youth Zone.
Hey everybody, I'm Devante Hunter.
And I'm Michelle McKinsey. And we're here bringing you not only important, but also popular news here from the island of EXUMA. 4 years ago, the Junior Local Government Program was implemented throughout the Family Islands. On the second generation of councilmen, JLC has given students a voice about issues here on the island. Elections are held every term, and students are encouraged to apply.
Regatta. Here in EXUMA, regatta is an island-wide event. Regatta is essentially boat racing between all the islands. After regatta, there are numerous beach parties and other events that take place.
Recently, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas partnered with local firms in the island of New Providence and EXUMA to host a town hall meeting at the Sandals Emerald Bay Resort here in EXUMA. Parents, students, and other islanders were able to ask questions and give opinions about the developments on the island and what opportunities the developments would bring in the forum. Some people even offered advice to their fellow islanders, urging them to change their attitudes or else they would miss out on jobs and educational opportunities. The forum, which offered an esteemed panel of education and hospitality officials, succeeded in informing students and young adults about opportunities and how to prepare for them.
We also want to hear from you if you have any news regarding our phenomenal youth. Well, that, my friend, is the news for the week. I'm Devante Hunter.
And I'm Michelle McKinsey. Please don't touch that remote.
Stay tuned for more Youth Zone after the break.
Pizza Hut is now open at Saunders Beach. Come savor the flavor of our great tasting pizzas. Order your Pizza Hut favorites today by dialing 603-3333 or visit pizzahutnassau.com. Try our signature pan pizzas and our specialty pizzas on your favorite crust, plus pastas, wings, and more for takeout or delivery. 603-3333 or visit pizzahutnassau.com. Pizza Hut, make it great. Delivery within Saunders Beach and the surrounding area.
Imagine driving through the Bahamas without having to worry about potholes. Imagine roads with standing reflective signs, striping, reflective road studs, and pavement rejuvenation. Well, you don't have to imagine anymore. It's here. Our rejuvenation and cold patch products come with a 3-year guarantee. Our products also work on parking lots, driveways, airfields, and concrete surfaces. For further information, please call Bahama Striping at 394-7777.
Save our nation. At the Youth Zone. You are now in the Youth Zone.
Welcome back. Well, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, we've been having an exciting discussion on family island education. We're, of course, coming to you from the beautiful, impeccable EXUMA. It's just beautiful and beautiful people. We've been having a great discussion, a lively audience here, and a great panelists and my co-hosts. We've been talking really about the impact of family island education, whether it's an advantage or disadvantage. But it's now time for us to talk about entrepreneurship and encouraging it. We call it Stripes of My Own Business. It's a segment we've been fully featuring all season. Take a look.
I realized that I actually had my first business when I was about 13, 14, to whereby, like, first I started off cutting the grass at the church. Then from walking the lawnmower from my house to the church, like, my auntie used to stop go and cut my grass, and I found out to whereby on a weekly basis I had about five different yards I had to cut, and I was making about $25 a yard. Where I lived with my uncle, I went to BTBI to take up carpentry. And my uncle was a plumber, so when I was off from school, I worked alongside him with plumbing. And he also did road striping as a side business, and that's where I got my first taste in striping. I can remember it was an early Saturday morning. He waked me up, they come home, we got a job to do. Went in the back of the yard and he pulled the canvas off of the small machine, and from then I just started asking questions what the machine does, and from there, like, driving to the job site, me and him was talking about, and he said that, this is what I want to do. I want to develop a company and travel through the Bahamas doing striping. And for some reason that stuck with me. And after I moved to Nassau, I was working in the construction field as a professional carpenter. And at that particular time, the construction industry took a downturn. So I started to look for other ways to make a living. And that is when I heard about the government self-starter program. Started out with a $5,000 grant from the government self-starter program, where they was giving young persons between the ages of 18 to 30 up to $5,000 to help them get started in business. That's what got Bahama Striping the grant funding. And I would say it put the drive in me to want to pursue this particular goal that I have. What we seek to do here at Bahama Striping is to give the guys a career, not just a job. And the overall goal is to one day that we have a group of young guys to go there and start their own business, whether it be a franchise in Bahama Striping or whatever aspirations that they want to do. We train them on how to be punctual, how to respect the job, how to do proper time management, and so forth. So all of that helps to develop them as a better individual. I would definitely like to congratulate on Bahamas for this initiative. Any time where you are trying to birth new entrepreneurs within the Bahamian market, I think that is definitely an idea that should be supported on all levels. Definitely, when you look at enhancing the economy, enhancing the small business, which is the driving force behind any economy, I definitely can congratulate that, and I'm actually happy to be a part of it, at least a spokesperson in the event, to inspire persons to actually want to own a part of their Bahamas. My name is Otario Mixes, and I want you to own a part of your Bahamas.
It's going down at the youth zone. We may be young, but we're the next generation, and we're here to save our nation. Oh, at the youth zone. Here to save our nation. Oh, at the youth zone. You are now in the youth zone.
What's happening in your school? What sets you apart from the rest? Well, every week we'll find out when we feature a different school. This week we welcome the only private school on the island, St. Andrew's Anglican School. Welcome again, Mrs. Junan Lewis.
And of course, welcome. And I was just informed that there is actually another school, Forest Academy, I think it is. Forecast Academy. And we're going to actually be talking to them in our next show. And so I understand there's another institution. I'm excited to hear about what they're doing as well. But St. Andrews obviously has a reputation behind it because it's a strong Anglican school. Tell us a little bit about what makes this school stand out in EXUMA.
Well, St. Andrews is a small school, but one of the things that we love about our school is that we're a family environment. We have very small classes, so our students get one-on-one instruction, and we have a safe environment. Our parents are really concerned about being in an environment where the children can learn comfortably, and like you say, they're not aggressive classes.
We have a lot of aggressive schools in Nassau.
Yes, you have a lot of aggressive schools in Nassau, but that's one of the things that, you know, when you send your children to school, parents want to have a peace of mind that they are learning, but they are also safe.
Where are you excelling in your view the most?
You mean in particular subject,
Yeah.
or
whether it's the arts, whether it's academics, whether it's sports? What is if you were to talk about the magnet of it, what is it?
Definitely the academics we're excelling in. Last year, we had the highest BJC scores in EXUMA. One of our students, Shamir Roll, he got 7 BJCs, 6 A's, and 1 B. And what we are encouraging is an accelerated program where our children begin to take their BJCs in grade 8 and their BGCSEs in grade 10. So if they start from grade 8, then by the time as they get to grade 12, they can be in an AP program, which will prepare them for college. So that is something that we're bringing on board because we want our children, because we're on the Family Islands, we want them to be able to participate globally and not be set aside because they came from the Family Islands.
How many students are at the school?
We have 146 students, K through 12.
Wow. Now I know you may have at least 1 or 2 standout students. Come on up here with who you want to call up? You want to talk to them?
JC and Shamea.
Come on up, JC and Shamea.
Come on, JC.
Right over there, stand on both sides of your, right, there you go. Let's hear from just JC. JC, okay, go ahead and tell us, what do you like most about your school?
As Ms. Lewis said, I love the family environment. I love the small classes because students get one-on-one time. Teachers pay a lot of attention. Teachers are concerned about whether you're failing. They notice you get a 30% in the test. They call your parent and be like, what happened, JC? You got a 30% in the
Wow,
test.
they do that?
Yes,
oh, no.
they do.
I said phone off.
But I'm thankful for the small environment. I'm thankful for the concern that the teachers do have for the students, ensuring that we succeed, that we do our best, that we participate not only on the island, but nationally, globally, as Ms. Lewis said.
What has been some of your successes since being at the school?
I was blessed to take 4 BGCSEs in grade 11.
Wow.
And I got an A, 2 Bs, and a C. And last year, in grade 10, I was awarded the 2nd highest position on the island, top GPA. And this year, I was blessed to be the top student, to have the top GPA for the island for last year.
She got you in fans out there. Give us your name. Let's hear from you. How you feel?
My name is Shamir Roll, and I must agree with
Ms. Lewis and JC. The family environment is very good. I've attended St. Andrews for about 13 years, and I can't remember the last time there was a fight. So I am I am able to go to school and learn comfortably, and I like that very much, and I really appreciate my school.
Do you feel you're missing out on anything at your school?
The sports program is not very well, but other than that, it's...
I take it Alan Coakley continues to beat up on you. What have been some of your successes in being at the school?
As Ms. Lewis said earlier, I got 6 A's and 1 B on my BJCs.
Wow. So, you got 6 A's, 1 B on your BJC. You're a Family Island student, and you're a male Family Island student. And you're a male Family Island student with 6 A's and 1 B. What do you think led to that kind of academic achievement, or you just born smart?
As they said, the one-on-one instructions with the teacher really helps a lot, and I appreciate that. That's why I would recommend to come to a smaller school instead of a bigger classroom environment at the schools in Nassau.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Ms. Lewis, I must say thank you for the work that your school is doing on the island and giving us some very productive young Bahamian citizens who obviously will have a bright future and a great career. Thank you so much for talking with us and for being with us. Well, listen, we're so happy to have been able to talk to them. And of course, after the break, we'll wrap right up. Stay close.
And we're here to save our nation. At the Youth Zone. You are now in the Youth Zone. Here to save our nation. At the Youth Zone. You are now in the Youth Zone.
Well, it's been really a great show, and I'm so happy we were able to have that national discussion talking about Family Island education. And I'm so happy that we have students who are proving that they are succeeding despite the odds, despite the challenges. They are proving that they are making the best out of it and doing a great job. And so we say hats off to Ellen Coakley School and, of course, the St. Andrews School, who are our guests today on the show. It's been a phenomenal time. And, of course, here is this video we want to take of our behind the scenes fun activity with some of the cast members we brought with us on some of the what's happening spots in EXUMA. Take a look.
Well, it has been great hanging with you. Hit us up on Twitter at YouthZone242 or Facebook at The Youth Zone.
Or email us at theyouthzone242@zennesbahamas.com. We want to hear from you.
Certainly want to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week again from EXUMA. Have a good evening, buddy.
And we're here to save our nation. At the Youth Zone. You are now in the Youth Zone.